Viewers, let's watch this video. Let's watch.
This reasoning often stems from different things such as sicknesses, diseases, pestilence, natural disasters, or attributed to God as acts of God, and much more. When believers think like this, their position is often informed from a misrepresentation of the text of Scripture. For example, a man by the name Job. Let's look at the misconceptions of God's character from the Old Testament. Job chapter 1 verse 21. Job chapter 1 verse 21. Light of the world. Read for me. Job 1:21. Job 1:21.
And said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return hither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Now that's a misrepresentation of this text, and is often why God is misrepresented both in people's minds and hearts. And this often represents God as both a giver and a taker, like a God whose mind is never settled, like God who is unstable. And a lack of understanding of who God is and what he does often informs this position. The book of Job in his travels presents the picture of the diabolical one, Diabolos, Satan, bringing devastation into Job's life. And because the events were supernatural and things that he could not explain, he and all those around him attributed the events and circumstances to God. Look at Job chapter 1 verse 16, DJ. Job chapter 1 verse 16.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Next verse.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, The Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Next verse.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
19.
And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Now a careful reading of Job's account shows that he lived in fear of an unknown God. Look at Job chapter 1 verse 5. Job chapter 1 verse number 5.
And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, It may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually.
So Job was living in fear. He wasn't even sure what was going on, and he was offering sacrifices. It's like worshiping God in fear. That worship is not accepted by God, because God does not receive anything that comes out of fear. Okay? Now, by his own admission, he acknowledged that he lived in fear of an unknown God, who, as earlier explained, is known and perfectly seen in the person of Jesus Christ. Look at Job, the 3rd chapter, the 23rd verse. Job chapter 3 verse 26. Job's own admission.
Why is life given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God hath hedged in?
Next verse.
For my sign cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters.
25.
For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me.
26.
I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came.
So the man was living in worry. The man was living in anxiety and fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of tomorrow, fear of disaster, fear of armed robbers, fear of attacks. And because he lived in fear, his fear connected him to the object of his fear. Because fear is a connector, just like faith is a connector. Fear connects you to the object of your fear, and faith connects you to God's promises.